So a strange thing happened at the end of that video. It just suddenly cut off. I don't know if I accidentally touched a button or something because I was gesticulating with my hand. I don't know. But it was weird because immediately the screen cut to the front screen, what do you call it, the home screen. And what I saw was 11, 11, 11. Because it was 11 minutes past 11 and today's the 11th. I don't know. Anyway, I take that as a sign that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I will continue. So I was talking about Havana syndrome. Now, I really can't remember what I was about to say at the end of that. But what I can say is that that kind of attack is the most common one that they're doing to me now and that they have been doing to me. Right now, yeah, it's there. It's like a very low generalized rumble. I can't explain it. Sometimes mostly at night, it gets more intense, or maybe I just, notice it more. I don't know, but often I have to put in a silicone ear plug, and for some reason I've discovered that if I put in one earplug, it's somehow better than if I put two in. And what that helps with is, it doesn't block anything, but it stops the vibration of the eardrum, which is the most horrible thing for me. That's the thing that really is unbearable to me, is that it's an extreme vibration of the eardrum that shouldn't be happening, and it's horrible. Yeah, and it makes you feel sick. And I made a connection here with this as well. I realized, okay, for many years I've had something like vertigo. I can't keep my balance. And I went to a chiropractor, and the chiropractor told me that I'm his wobbliest patient. Okay. I literally, I tried to stand up on one leg, and that's just a joke, because I can't even stand up on two legs sometimes. I just fall over. And then I discovered that is a symptom of Havana syndrome. And I have that to quite an extreme degree, I'm not saying I can't ever stand on one leg. I do try, and I really concentrate, and, but it's, I just, it's an effect that it has had on me. And I do believe that it's probably permanent. I don't know. I needed to go to Dr. Hoffer in Miami, but well, if you've watched the other videos, you'll know that I basically got grounded. I got grounded, and by the gang stalkers. They sabotaged my vehicle for the umpteenth time. They've done it many, many times before. They sabotaged my vehicle, and then they stop all the local mechanics from fixing it. So I'm effectively under house arrest, okay? And that was in February. But that was directly after I'd been to see a detective in Bogard Parish here in Louisiana. That's another story, part of my story that I have to tell, but here's the thing. In the middle of my talk with her, where she was just gaslighting me and mocking me and using exploitation of phobias, torture on me. In the middle of that, see, I was really trying to make her see that this is something serious, and you know, and I'm not the bad guy here, you know. But anyway, it wasn't working. So at one point I said to her, look, I know that I know I'm a victim of Havana syndrome, because not only do I feel it myself, but I've got these implants in my body that tell me, you know, that you know, they were put there by somebody, weren't they? And just to clarify this, these implants were placed in my body. I don't know when, and I don't know by who, but it was without my consent, okay? Even without my knowledge. So I don't know if they did it when I was in hospital sometime. I don't know. But anyway, according to the guy who did the scan, he told me that only TIs have these implants, okay? And many people would say, oh, well, they can do the mind control, they can do the directed energy weapons without the implants. I think these are gang stalkers that keep repeating that story. But the fact is that may well be the case, but he's the expert, you know, and he told me only TIs have this. Only TIs have these implants. He said that when he did his first client, and the guy had to convince him, because, you know, it's not the kind of scan that's supposed to be for bodies. It's the kind of scan that you go into an office and you check it for bugs, you know, you check it for like hidden cameras and stuff like that. It's that kind of scan. I don't know the name of it, but anyway. And this guy begged him to scan his body, because he really believed that there was devices inside him, basically. And anyway, he finally obviously convinced him. So that was his very first client. And then he started asking himself, well, does everyone have these implants, you know? So he literally, he scanned himself, he scanned all his family, he scanned all his office workers. None of them had it. So he told me, you know, if before, you know, this was before I had the scan done, you know, he said, if you're a TI, you'll have the implants. And well, actually, I can't remember the exact words he said, but he said in his experience, all the TIs that he has scanned have had these implants, and nobody else does. Anyway, I'm digressing again. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought. The thing is, the buzzing in my ears, the vibration has got louder. And I just wonder, you know, is that affecting my ability to think straight? I had a silicone plug in earlier, but I took it out. And now I'm feeling like it's affecting me. I'm even feeling a bit sick as well. Anyway, so that's Havana syndrome. So let's talk about some other. I may come back to that, because it could be that I've missed some things out. But let's talk about some of the other directed energy weapons. So when I was in Texas City, it was as if they were trying them all out on me, because they gave me all these different ones. They did all these different ones on me. There was one that was particularly horrible, and I call it the heart attack weapon. The first time they hit me with that, I was talking to another TI on the phone. I was counseling her because she was going through a very bad time, and I'd been asked to call her. I was kind of volunteering with Targeted Justice at that time, and I'd been asked to call this girl who was having a really, really bad time. And in the middle of talking to her, that obviously really pissed off the gang stalkers. They hit me with this heart attack weapon, and it doubled me over, and I had to kind of draw in breath, and I didn't want to make a noise to startle this girl because she was in the middle of telling me her terrible story. Okay. So I kind of pulled the phone away from my mouth a bit so I could kind of breathe through it. And oh gosh, it's horrible. I'm telling you, it's horrible. It feels like you're having a heart attack, and the pain kind of radiates up your neck and sometimes even down the left arm. So it really does feel like you're gonna have a heart attack. Horrible. So that's one of them. Then there's the burning, the scalp burning. I mean, they burn you on other parts of your body as well, but mostly the scalp and mostly at night. And I just think because they're cowards, they don't, what they've done to me mostly is things that you can't see. So that, because I think in particular, what they're doing to me is they're making me look like a liar, a crazy person, more than a liar. Like they want me to look like somebody who is just making up a story to, what's this word? Like to get attention, like an attention seeker, like a drama queen, that kind of, that's one of their narratives about me. So much of what they do to me is to make that look real, to make that look like it's true. Anyway, so most of the things that they do to me are invisible to the naked eye, So this scalp burning, that's horrible. I remember one time when I was in Georgia, I was staying in the house of another TI. That's another story that didn't end well, but anyway, that's part of my story. But we're just talking about the directed energy now. So one morning we woke up and they had hit us both the same in the night, and we both had welts on our head where they had burnt our scalps so bad in the nighttime, both on the same day. This is kind of, they're telling us they're basically punishing us. They're punishing us for speaking out. They're punishing us for even being friends. They don't want TIs to have any friends. I mean, and they've achieved their aim. They've isolated me absolutely, completely. But anyway, that's another subject. So yeah, there's the burning. They also burn. I've got photos of where they've burnt me on my body, like on my chest, on my stomach, on my legs also. Oh, one time they made my legs swell up, and like literally I looked like I had elephantiasis or something, and they look like cigarette burns all over. I have photos of that. And the thing is about it, you can kind of tell that it's not, it's definitely not like chicken pox or something, because you can see shapes you can see shapes. Normally there's a triangle. There's this triangular shape that happens. Anyway, so that's burning. And that feels like a cigarette burn when they do it, basically. It's horrible. Then there's another one that I was told is an ear. Oh, what was it? She said to me, I think it was Karen Stewart who told me this. I put a photo up. It was basically, I woke up with this bruise under my arm, and I've had that several times since, but this basically is a bruise, but inside the bruise there are these little dots in a circle. It's clearly nothing natural. It's clearly not. And I think she told me it was an EMF bullet or something, I think she told me it, something like that. And she said that if that had hit my heart, it would have stopped my heart. So I kind of had it was a warning shot, is what it was, you know. So that was another one. Then there's another one that's like, I guess it's like a current going through my body. Now, I've only ever had that quite mildly, but other TIs have told me that it's actually, jolted their whole body off the floor. I mean, horrible like that. But that hasn't happened to me. I now know that when I was working at British Airways as a flight attendant, they were hitting me with directed energy weapons there. You see, it's so much of this is about creating an impression of who I am. So what they were doing is they were hitting my feet with I think I already described that one. It's like a sharp needle, like a laser. And it really does feel like somebody's sticking a needle in you, like a hot needle. And they were doing that to me on my feet right at the beginning of my shift. So, it made me, I remember on one flight, I had to sit down because it was that painful. And I could see the other crews like rolling their eyes because, they're thinking like, oh no, we've got a lazy one. The worst thing you can be seen as when you're a flight attendant is lazy, because there's so much work to do and you've got to work as a team and you've got to keep doing, you've got to keep going because it all has to be done. So if you have a lazy person on your flight, that's like such a nightmare because it makes it so much more difficult for everyone else. So anyway, this is what they were trying to do, create this impression, of me. So they were doing that a lot. The pains, they were making it in my feet, but that sharp pain, they've done it all over my body, and especially they like doing it. It's horrible, and actually technically it's grape, but they do it inside my vagina, okay? And they do it in my breasts. I remember one time I went to Mount Rushmore, I think it's called, with the faces of the presidents, and that was completely ruined. I mean, everything is just. I'm not allowed to have one nice experience. So I'd stopped my car there in a little. There was a lay-by where you could take a good picture of the faces, and gang stalkers had followed me there in one of those cube cars, which were very new at that time. It was a grey cube car, and in the window, which they thought was just hilarious, they had a picture of the Queen waving. Okay. And I mean, I knew they were gang stalkers, but I didn't realize that, I didn't realize what they were up to until these pains started. They were doing these shooting pains in my breasts and in my genitals. Yeah, so they destroyed that experience for me, as well as just everything else. See, every time I remember my trip that was so special to me. It really meant a lot to me. It was an emotional thing for me to see Mount Rushmore. And now every time I remember it, I remember the pains in my breasts with these people poking me with these red hot needle, like, I guess it's lasers. I don't know what it is. Anyway, okay, so that's that one. And I also, you see now, right now, the ooh in my head is ooh, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah. And it's causing a, I don't know if pressure is the right word. It's buzzing in my ears and in my head right now. And it's more on my right. Now, why is it more on my right? I think it's coming from the right. Maybe that's it. It's coming from the right. I'm just going to put in the silicone thing, just so that I can get back to concentrating on what I'm saying. But you see, it's making me feel nauseous. Yeah. Okay. There, you see, it's still there, but at least it's not causing my eardrum. Now that I've got the earplug in, it stopped my eardrum from vibrating violently like it does. But I do still feel sick. I have to say, I still feel sick. Okay, so another one that I experienced when I was at work at British Airways that I didn't realize it was at the time. At the time, I thought, well, I was wondering, why do I always get these static shock jolts, when nobody else seems to? And some of the crew clearly knew what was going on, because I saw them kind of snickering. One time, I mean, it was like an electric shock. And one time it was so embarrassing. Oh my goodness. I'd gone to wake up a first class passenger because we were about to land and they had to wake up, obviously, to put their seatbelt on and, put this, because they were lying down. So they had to, it takes a while to get the seat back up and, they had to get dressed and all of that. So I had to wake this passenger. And as I hadn't even touched them, I just put my hand out and it was about, I know, half a centimeter from their body. And this blue spark just, and of course, and that was like an electric shock. It was a static shock. And, oh my goodness, that was just so awful because I woke up very angry, which is, it's the worst possible way to be woken up, right? Horrible. And the other crew seemed to think it was quite amusing. So that was horrible. I saw a guy one time, and I didn't know at the time about directed energy weapons, but I saw him with something in his hand that he was putting together. So I think this is what I think. I think he had whatever device in pieces, like in his hand luggage or something, and then he was assembling it there in his seat. And I remember what he looked like. He was very, very blonde, very white blonde, like this unusually white kind of person, like, that reader for CNN who's the son of Vanderbilt. What's his name? Anyway, when he was younger, he had that look about him, didn't he? Like this very pale, very white. That's what this guy looked like. He didn't look like that guy at all, but just the colouring I'm talking about. Almost kind of not human, not quite human, you know what I'm saying? And he was I believe he was putting together this device. And on that flight was one of the flights when my feet was being attacked. And this is just a memory that flashes back to me. I get these glimpses of things that help me to remember stuff. And I believe that's God helping me, you know. It's all I can say because I don't know why other if it's not God, what is it that is bringing me exactly the right memories that I need to figure something out that I'm thinking about right now? That I call that God. Anyway. So I can't right now think of any others. I know there probably are, but those are the main ones that I experience. I'm going to come back, and I know that I'll probably remember some more and then come back. But for now, I guess it's a basic overview, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think that's the end of this for now.